All right, welcome back to another edition of the Blue Review. It is
Blue
Greg
Review.
Bergman, Corporate Greg, and Parker Bell, myself with you today. And you know what? You can see producer Anthony in the back as well.
What's
Go
up,
ahead and say
Anthony?
hi. Go ahead and say hi. There we go.
Boys.
Happy Tuesday. We hope everyone had a wonderful Memorial Day holiday weekend. The Dodgers didn't, but Greg, there's still some good news. I think I had a good weekend. Angel Hernandez retired.
Right. Angel Hernandez has retired, so that's great news. It makes the whole weekend feel just a little bit better. And also getting rained out yesterday meant that the Dodgers couldn't have a 6-game losing streak. So that was really nice yesterday to not have to deal with that. But you get a doubleheader today. It's weird. It's a weird doubleheader. Usually when you do doubleheaders, it's one's early in the morning and then one's at night. But today is at 1:10 and 4:10. That's
going to be very weird.
I mean, that is back to back. Like they're just putting those on top of each other. It's a little bit crazy, but it should be fun in New York. Always a good time.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's always good when you see the Mets and Ruben Flores. I just want to say, first off, shout out to everyone in the chat as you trickle in. Everyone, Ruben Flores in the chat says Dodgers were on vacation like the rest of us.
Exactly. Like I said to you right before we came on, Parker, I don't expect anybody to do anything over a holiday weekend, and including you, and including the Dodgers, apparently, because they did absolutely nothing. They couldn't get on base. They couldn't score runs. It was just a mess.
Yeah, overall mess. We can get into each game a little bit as best as we can. We don't want to. Here's the thing: we don't want to pin down too much on the specifics of, I think, this Reds series. I know that it is unfortunate, but I mean, you're looking at it, and it's a very weird series just in terms of runners in scoring position and the offense struggling mightily. So I think there's a bunch that we can get into, and if you have any questions in the chat, send them our way. But of course, before we get into anything, before we get deeper into this episode, I want to remind everyone here at the Blue Review, we're presented by Los Angeles International Airport. I was just there, our home away from home, as I took a little flight on the way to Vegas. Didn't take it back, just ended up hitching a ride with a buddy, but still,
you hitchhiked. You just like threw your
I just
threw your thumb up and showed a
down
little leg and got down here back.
Yeah. But they're great. When I showed up on Friday, it was smooth sailing. They're just changing the travel experience over there, reducing traffic, saving guests time. And if you want to learn more, you can find that out at flylax.com/transforminglax. So thank you to LAX, our partner here at the Blue Review. So again, good morning, everyone. I see everyone hopping on in, saying good morning in the chat. It feels great. Let's start right here, Greg. I see Lance the Legend in the chat, and I think this is a big topic because we're going to get into the running into scoring position. He says, it feels like everybody's just trying to hit a home run. So, Greg, obviously, the big three, they hit 237 and only 4 RBIs with 0 homers this series. I think I agree with Lance. They're all trying home run or bust. What are your just kind of thoughts there? What did you see this weekend?
I mean, it seems pretty much like that. That's what this team kind of goes through. It's kind of what we've been talking about especially with Marcus when he was here for the last, couple weeks. Mm-hmm. It's just that they have not been able to get hits when they're in big moments and come through. And really the bottom of the lineup wasn't able to do it. So now when you have the bottom of the lineup that's not really hitting, cannot do anything for the most part, except for Friday, they got a couple of hits. Even Chris Taylor got a hit on Friday. So that was kind of interesting. But the fact of the matter is, when you have the bottom of the lineup not hitting, and then you rely so much on those top 4 guys, if those top 4 guys are also not hitting, you're done. You have nothing, because that's when that 6 through 9 or even that 5 through 9 has to really come through. And I'm talking about Teoscar, I'm talking about Gavin Lux and all the other guys. Those guys need to come through and pick up the top 4 when they're struggling, and it's just not what's happening. So Mookie, Shohei, Freddie, and Will Smith are not going to be hot the entire season. Will Smith was kind of going through a little bit of a rough stretch. Freddie has not been himself really at all this year, even though he's been good. And all you've had so far really that has been really, really good outside of Teoscar at times is Mookie and Shohei. And so now they're struggling over the weekend, and nobody was there to pick them up. And it's just it's tough to see, and it's tough to watch over and over again. something's got to change. I think something will change. I mean, there's no freaking out right now, Parker. I don't think you're freaking out either. They still, I believe, have a 5.5 game lead in the decision in the division. 5 game lead. So it's a 5 game lead. They still are up by 5 games, but something needs to change. This is something. It's the guys got to get a hit, and whether it is or is not about just hitting home runs, they have to figure out a way to just move runners along, and it's just not happening right now.
Yeah, I'm seeing the chat starting to bring up things like analytics, starting to see things about, just some overreactions. But I agree with you. We always try to bring it back to the basics when things like this happen. And it seems like the Dodgers haven't necessarily figured that out yet this season, because they go through these stretches where when you have runners in scoring position, it just terrible. Absolutely like bonkers slumps. I mean, you're looking at this team and it's like, are we sure this is the first place team in the NL West,
Yeah, right.
But of course, then there's the whole complete opposite, the highs, when you're on those stretches where you see why they are what they are. And it's kind of tough to be going up and down that roller coaster as a fan. But looking at it as just like from a baseball perspective, I guess if you take a step out, look at the whole season in general, I think I lean more along the lines of like Freddie, where he's saying, we're not panicking. It's May. This is a really bad slump, but we'll be fine. We'll get back out of it. I know that's Freddie, and that's what Freddie always does.
Yeah.
But if that's kind of the mindset of the team, Shohei has the same thing. He's basically saying, the mental aspect of the game doesn't really get to me like that. As long as I have my mechanics right, I'll be fine. And you can see he was playing through like a little hammy injury, but he's still hustling. He's still playing hard. So I think the team has the right mentality to get out of it. It's just a matter of those specifics. Trying to hit a home run and trying too hard to get out of that slump is not the way to do it. You got to start manufacturing runs, like we always say.
Yep. Baseball is a game of ups and downs, and you just hope that you don't go through everybody on the team goes through the downs at the exact same time. But that's what comes with being Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani and being at the top of that lineup. That's something that they have to be the trendsetters and the table setters, and that's what they do on a regular basis. I mean, I'm looking at Saturdays and Sundays box score. Mm-hmm. This is Saturday, 6 through 9, 0 hits combined. So that's Gavin Lux, Jason Hayward, Kike Hernandez, and Chris Taylor, 0 hits. I mean, you only got 5 hits out of the 1 through 5. They each got 1. So if those aren't all back to back to back, you're not going to get anything. On Sunday, it was very much the same thing. But this one was even worse. Look at this. It's 5 through 9, no hits. That one is Pajes, Gavin Lux, Jason Hayward, Kike Hernandez, and Austin Barnes. Like they just no hits whatsoever. And when you have things like that, you rely so much on the top of the lineup, and they're not going to always come through. You know what? Another thing that I'm starting to notice because of this, because teams know that that the Dodgers are so top heavy and struggling in the bottom of the lineup, they're starting to use other teams like the Diamondbacks did it, and so did the Reds. They're using openers that they say like you go out there, and it's like Suter on Sunday. You go out there, get out Mookie, Shohei, Freddie, and then we'll handle the rest. And then those guys just kind of go through. And you only have to see them a couple of times. But they set the table in that first inning of like, we're going to just get these 3 dudes out, and then we'll move on. And then we'll have our bulk starter. And it happens, and it seems to be working against this team, because if the Dodgers don't get guys on base in that first inning, it seems like they just all totally fall apart. So hopefully it gets fixed. Again, this is just a down stretch. It will get better, but man, it's tough to watch when you see 5 in a row. That's the first time it's been 5 in a row since April of 2019, by the way. So that's how you know how bad this is going right now.
Pre-COVID, man. Yeah, Nick Martinez. I mean, you're talking about the whole opening thing, and then they just bring in the next guy. Yeah, the Dodger killer, Nick Martinez, came in and just, what was it, 4 and like 2/3 scoreless innings. It's getting to the point where, I think teams are starting to figure out, hey, we can approach these Dodgers a certain way that's giving us a much higher chance of winning. And so far, we've seen in this 5-game skid, it's working. So Dodgers are going to have to figure out something quick. Otherwise, that 5-game lead, while it feels like it's a lot, and we were saying for so long, it's still 7.5, still 8, still 6. 5 can go away pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we haven't really talked about maybe the pitching of this weekend, we can kind of look at it of an overall thing. Funny enough, outside of Paxton, wasn't that bad. You're
No,
looking at Yamamoto, really only had one bad inning. I know he was at about 59 pitch count when he got to that inning, so the command was a little off. But still, overall, he did fine. I mean, even the runs that he allowed during that fourth, it was like a little blue pit to like get those last two runs in. And before that, I mean, Jonathan India, I guess, just decided to wake up and have a great weekend.
happens.
Because yeah, you're looking at the Reds. Ellie De Cruz, their star, was like I think 1 for 9 on the weekend. Um, didn't even really do much outside of some good fielding plays.
Yeah,
But the pitching, yeah, the pitching. Sorry, I know I'm kind of going like off on tangent for a little bit, but Yamamoto and Bueller, they did fine. They were serviceable this weekend. I don't know what you kind of saw, but I felt they were fine.
Yeah, so it was. I mean, they were absolutely serviceable. They did. Yeah, Paxton had his worst start as a Dodger, and this is kind of what you were waiting for this start from Paxton. Unfortunately, it's a thing where he had issues in the past. He had been pretty good recently, but hopefully this is just one bad outing for him. But besides that, Yamamoto did have that one, and it was singles. He got killed by singles and at a little bit of a loss of command. You were right on all of that. And Walker Bueller was actually just fine. He gave up a couple of jacks though, and that's what I kind of see is that giving up the home runs. That's what you don't want to see out of guys like Bueller. But he'll be okay. The fact of the matter is they gave up 4 runs and 3 runs. And only scored 2 in those 2 games combined.
Yeah.
You're not going to win games that way. This in baseball today, they need to score a lot of runs. If you give up 3 or 4 runs, this Dodgers team should win every single game if they give up 3 to 4 runs. That's it. Like their offense is too good to not being able to put up 3 to 4 runs. So I don't blame the pitching whatsoever. It is 100% on the offense to me, and finding a way to get hits, get on base, move other runners along, and not swing for the fences. I don't even think it was so much the bullpen. Like on Friday, I know, and like this may shock
the chat
you,
wants
Parker.
to talk about it.
I'm sure it will. Like I'm not going to give a lot of hell to Alex Vezia because he had been really good. It's all about context and what he's done. Now, the only thing I will say about Vezia is this is what I have been talking about with him in the past. That he has been really good, but at least once a game, it feels like he gives up a really long fly ball that's caught right on the warning track. And unfortunately, when you're doing that in Cincinnati, where the ball flies, the ball is going to fly out and it's going to go out and he's going to get beat. And he did in that situation. He gave up the jack. He gave up the grand slam. That was because he gives up those. It happens once a game. And that is the one that it would have. It depends on the ballpark, but those are the things that I'm worried about with Vezia is giving those up. But before that, he had been great. And he has been really good. So I'm not going to get on top of him just for that one home run. But those were the things to watch out for with Vezia, and he gave it up. But
yeah,
he has been really good.
We can't say anything bad really about Vezia because you're right, he has been doing good. But those are the kind of signs, those are the things that scare you a little bit when it comes to the postseason.
Yep.
Like you said, if you're playing in a certain ballpark, those high fly balls can just
carry.
Yeah.
And they just keep going. And like they've been getting lucky that they've been dropping right before on the warning track or right before. Those go out sometimes. And they just happen to go out this time.
Yeah. So outside of, even the chat agrees, like the pitching isn't really the problem. And
nope. I don't.
And they're going to be getting people. They're going to be getting people back.
Yep.
Standpoint, you got guys like Phillips, who's close to return. Who else do we have that are somewhat close? I mean, Bobby is still maybe a June return time. But just, looking at that, Kelly maybe might still be late May, early June. There's really no update on Joe Kelly.
We are late May.
Exactly right. Yeah. It's almost, You're right. I'm losing track of the dates here. But excuse me. Yeah. Pitching has been fine. And it's all about the top heavy lineup and inconsistency in the batting lineups. So looking forward to today on this weird
doubleheader.
Glasnow, granted, he's put up over 6 innings pitched, and I think 7 of his 11 starts, or 7 of his last 11 starts, whatever it may be. But the last 2 haven't really been all that good. He hasn't reached 6 innings yet. So today, are you expecting a bit of a turnaround, kind of him making a statement, maybe, whatever it may be? But we know we've been marking him down as that ace, that guy who is going to be the stopper. Are we going to see that today, or do you expect maybe a little bit of a slow start? I don't know.
Well, see, I think there is something to be paying attention to with Glasnow. I do think he's the ace. He should be just fine. But if it happens once, you kind of go like, all right, that was just once. It's not a big deal. If it happens the second time, you're like, okay, 2 in a row. Okay, whatever. Like he'll be fine. He'll pick it up. If he has another bad outing today, I think there's something to be looked at there, and there might be more to what's going on, whether it's a mechanical issue or some pain. He is a guy that gets injured a lot. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think that we pay attention to today's game from Glasnow, because this is one that you expect him to not have 3 bad outings in a row, for him to not give it up. So hopefully, but it really won't even matter. He could still lose because this offense is not getting hit. So if he gives up 2-3 runs and they lose 3-0, 3-1, I can't, like, it's not on Glasnow at that point. It's still on the hitters and then not getting runs across and getting hits in big spots. And a lot of these pitches too, like a lot of them are middle, and they're just missing.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. Well, what is it? 9:47 on a Tuesday afternoon or morning. Dodgers' success against the fastballs. You keep mentioning it. It started with Pages, the middle talks. The Dodgers, the last few years, have consistently been one of the best fastball hitters in the team. I think in 2021 they were second, first in 2022, and third last year. And now this year they're about 7th to 10th. Teams are really close. It's still early, but the fact that they're only hitting 267 with, I think, an OBP of 359 against hittable fastballs has been the biggest thing. And it's just the lack of consistency, the way that they're approaching in different ways. It's been such a struggle to watch because, I mean, you're looking at it, you're trying to cover too many parts of the zone. I think when you start missing fastballs, again, that's when you start seeing these runners in scoring position not being taken advantage of. And you're seeing moments like this happen where you're just on a terrible skid.
Yeah, no, they are. I mean, like it's all going to get kind of figured out, but they are missing fastballs right now. I think you could be right. It could be them looking at, trying to cover every single part of the plate, being more patient as hitters, and like they're letting pitches go by that they would normally swing at, but it's an uppercut swing. It's a lot of trying to get out of that slump that you're talking about. That's something that they are really good at, but I think that's a baseball in general thing right now. I think most guys, we are in an era of pitching that I think is worthy of a conversation. I want to hear what you have to say, but I'd really love to bring this back. I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'd love to bring this back tomorrow for Marcus as well. But we are in an era of pitching right now that is so good that there are so many guys throwing 100 to 103 miles per hour with massive movement that it's almost impossible to hit. Like the scoring's down, hitting's down. It's some of the worst on base percentage, some of the worst slugging percentage in years, 10 years, 15 years, something like that. The pitchers are almost at a too high of a level to make the game fun. Like I want good, fun, interesting games, right? I want to see good pitching, and I want to see good hitting. But for the most part, people want to see runs. We kind of want to see 5-4 games, 6-5 games. We want to see games with scoring. And it seems that how good the pitching is right now, they might have to go into looking like, do we have to change something? That's why they got rid of the sticky stuff. That's why they're checking them all the time. Because something is going on where the pitching is just too good. I was talking about Travis Rogers last week. He's saying lower the mound or push it back. I don't think that's completely out of the question either. I know that's a very large thing to happen, but at some point, you only have a split second to see a 101 mile an hour fastball coming at you with movement that goes from right to left with no issue. I mean, so if you only have that split second, maybe giving the hitter that little extra will allow more hits, allow more runs, because that's what baseball wants. They made the bases bigger, so they have more steals because they want to see more action on the base pass. But people have to get on base, and everything is so much lower. I think that's an interesting conversation, and I'd love to hear what your thoughts on it, and then bring it back for Marcus tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's actually a great topic to bring up. I mean, the fact that you're getting guys like Mason Miller, all these dudes with wicked stuff, unhittable. And the game is changing, but unfortunately, on the other end, pitchers are also dying out quicker. They're getting hurt at a higher rate. So there is a very weird trade-off that we're going to be seeing a lot of changes in baseball as we move forward. But for the Dodgers' sake specifically, I mean, I see the chat. Yes, they say try hitting a 96-mile-per-hour fastball. Of course, I am not expecting myself. I'll shake in my boots up there on the plate, but it's still an issue. The fact that they were the top fastball hitter in the league the last few years, and now that their approach has changed, things are looking worse. Even with a better lineup, you would say, even though I know that the second half of the lineup has been one of the worst in baseball, still on paper, it's one of the better lineups they've had in the last few years. So it's very tricky to see how all this is unfolding, and it's there's no way to really tell how it'll unfold. But I guess we're going to get a view today. We're going to see if any adjustments were made after this rain delay, some more meetings. We'll see how the offense looks today.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think this can kind of feel like we're bringing this up because the Dodgers are struggling over the last, 5-6, last week, 2 weeks, just even hitting. But it's not. I think it's a baseball thing in general that I was kind of talking about with the amount of, all the numbers are down, and thanks very much, Beto, but where all the numbers are down. But the fact of the matter is they are not hitting right now, and they're not getting things done. So they need to figure it out. And Beto, I don't know if Beto agrees with me, because now that you're in here, are you going to try and connect too? What's up, buddy?
Man? What you got?
So you can go in there. I'm just talking about the Dodgers offense is obviously struggling, right? Very, very much so. But I was talking about with Travis last week. It's not just the Dodgers. It's all of baseball in general that's struggling. And he was saying something along the lines of, it might be time, and maybe not right now, but might be time to either lower the mound or push it back. Well,
really? Travis said that?
Travis said that. It's an interesting topic because it's not just the Dodgers. They're struggling right now. They'll be fine. They'll figure it out. But baseball in general, every number is down. Slugging's down, on base down, average down.
Because the pitchers are way ahead, and the pitches that they're throwing 100-mile-an-hour sliders now.
Yep.
That sweeper that's coming through. The pitchers are fantastic, but he always kind of evens out towards the end of the year, right? Especially in the summer, going to get hotter, and the ball's going to fly a little bit more. And all of a sudden, the balls just seem different in the summer, don't they?
It's weird how that works out.
Don't they seem a little different in the summer?
They just changed. It's so. Oh wait, all the numbers are down. We need to ping it up. Oh, the baseball changed. That's so weird. Thanks, Rob Manfred. So,
man,
it's a good point. The baseball will change like it always does because they want more, and we'll see how it goes from there.
We will see how it goes. Summer is right around the corner. I mean, it's officially the start of summer now that Memorial Day has come and gone. So, Greg, I'm glad we got to do this episode today. I know that fans are going to overreact. We're going to overreact. Everybody, in LA. It's natural to overreact. But the Dodgers got the Mets today. Glasnow's on the mound, and typically going into a Glasnow game, you got to be confident with the way he's been performing this season. So all I got to say is, let's just see how today's goes, and then let's
get two, huh? Let's play two.
Let's get play two. Let's get that. Let's get that NL West lead a little bit higher. Again, what's up, fools? To all in the chat, I see you in there, Anthony Avila. And again, we'll have Marcus Grant back tomorrow, and we'll react a little bit more to some of the things you were saying about baseball in general. I really like that topic. But to all those who celebrate Happy Angel Hernandez retirement party, we will see you again tomorrow. We'll be back at it at 9:30 here on the Blue Review. Thank you to LAX. Thank you to Corporate Greg. And thank you to Corporate Greg over here. I can't point. I don't know where the camera is. There it is.
It's all right. Just close it out, buddy.
I've been Parker Bell, and we will catch you mañana.